Good day. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from Your Black World and the Black Business School. And it is a beautiful day to be black and also a great day to be intelligent. And so I want to welcome you guys to drboycetv.com, the home for intelligent black people that want to think, black people that want to grow, black people that want to be great, black people that want to build, black people that want to own things, black people that want to understand how the world works. As I give you guys a chance to come into the conversation, let me give you a precursor of what I wanted to discuss. It has to do with a guy named Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein is he's a registered sex offender. He's a guy that right now is being talked about a lot in media. And at first, he was being talked about because he was on some real, like almost like R. Kelly times 10 type of stuff, where he was really into some stuff where he had big books, long binders full of women and underage girls and everything else, and he's kind of busted with that. And then it became even more interesting because he had a lot of famous friends, like people like the hypocrite Alan Dershowitz at Harvard University, who goes out of his way to talk about Louis Farrakhan and how he thinks Farrakhan is dangerous. But when you're getting on the Lolita Express, which was the name of Epstein's plane, you're getting on the Lolita Express where he's taking little girls off to deserted islands to molest them. I would say that you, sir, are the dangerous one, not Minister Farrakhan. But I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Tell me, holla if you hear me. Tell me if you agree and understand where I'm coming from with this. And so anyway, I want to say hi to Tiffany Johnson, content of one, Mr. Robertson. Good to see you. Shout out your city. So I know what cities that you're coming from. Ryan James, I see your comment about the fake passport, fake identity, Saudi ties. I've been hearing some real interesting stuff. That stuff. It's like you start off with the basics, right? Guy gets busted with underage girls, run of the mill, molesters or whatever you want to call them. Like that's kind of all over Hollywood, right? Then you get into him having a ton of famous friends, a lot of mainstream friends that are out there. And then that makes it even more interesting. Then you get into like little weird things, like nobody knows where the hell his money came from. Like nobody knows how he got all that money. Just so you know, like that's a precursor as well. Nobody knows how Epstein got all his money. That's interesting. And then you get into conversations about, like little things. I saw an attorney analyzing the case, and she was like, his jet airplane, the numbers on the tail like were connected with the CIA or something, and then there are people who connected him to Mossad, in 9/11. I mean, the rabbit hole gets pretty deep, and so it's kind of interesting to kind of sort of break that down. But anyway, let me go ahead and shout out your cities real quick. Let's see. I see Charlotte and Atlanta. I want to say hi to Baridi from Oakland, Tiffany from Indianapolis, Alonso from New Haven, Connecticut, James Foster, my man, always enjoy the I think you mean combo. He says conv, but same thing. I enjoy you too, brother. Thank you. R. Knight from Philly, a philosophy of hustle to Don. I see Pernell Gray from Dallas by way of Miami, Cambria from Washington. I see Fort Washington, Maryland, Chicago, Detroit. I'll be in Chicago July 28th, drboycechicago.com if you want to come out to the investment seminar, drboycechicago.com. Let's see, Dietrich from Chicago also. I see Fort Lauderdale, Baton Rouge, Las Vegas, Atlanta, Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Tampa, Montgomery, Queens. We're actually going to Los Angeles next week. That's in August. That's going to be drboycelosangeles.com if you want to come check that out too. Okay, so let me hop into the conversation. Hit the thumbs up button, please. Right now, everybody take 1 second, real quick. Hit that thumbs up button on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Everybody, please hit the thumbs up button. That will help us with the algorithm. Also, the more you talk, the more you share, the more you chat, the more you hit the thumbs up button, the more it pushes the conversation out there. So if you guys could help us with that, I would so appreciate that. Just takes a little effort from your thumbs. It ain't that hard to do. All right. So So here's what is interesting. Okay. So Jeffrey Epstein, has been in the media, and I've become intrigued with the case. One story that got my attention today that I thought was interesting is there's been a conversation about him being a billionaire. That is not true. He's not a billionaire. He's worth a lot of money. He's worth about $559 million. $559 million. Now, I see somebody's mentioning that as in our world, I think is what it says. He's a CIA contractor that flew drugs. That would not surprise me. There are people that are speculating that he engaged in either illegal activity or he was connected to the government or both. when he's being interrogated, there are people that say, that they were taken out of the room, saying that he's above your pay grade. This is a guy that you don't have any business treating like a regular citizen. And so I wouldn't be surprised if there was something where he's a guy that was doing something illegal, and he was also connected to the government, because y'all know that the CIA, they're the original crack dealers in the black community. They were the ones who were bringing the crack and letting the crack come into the country. And now here's the thing. Now, were they actually flying it in themselves? Were they the ones selling it? No, they weren't, right? They were the ones allowing the real crack dealers, the real dope dealers, to come in and make their money, right? That's why, for example, Freeway Ricky Ross, who's actually, he hasn't been on, you know what? I think he was on my channel a few years ago. Freeway Ricky Ross, allegedly one of the biggest, most notorious drug dealers of all time. He talked about the deals he had with Colombians and others, and he said that his connect, the guy that was actually supplying him with the drugs, only got 13 months in prison. And so basically, I think if you don't know now, the federal government has been deeply connected with drug distribution in black neighborhoods. That's one way that they've worked to dismantle you. That's why I despise rappers who promote drug addiction in black communities. I have a serious issue with, I wouldn't say I despise them, I despise what they're doing. I don't want to walk around hating nobody, but I can't be your friend if you're out here promoting this nonsense, right? So when I heard what's your boy's name? That rapper, you know what I'm talking about, the one that's locked up in Sweden, ASAP Rocky, talking about I like rapping about lean and drugs and all that. Well, you're playing right into the white man's hand, because that's what they've been doing. They've been trying to get black men on drugs, because a person who's high and drunk all the time is not adequate competition. A person who's high and drunk all the time is not alert. They're not awoke. They're not awake. They're not conscious. Unconscious people are easily exploited. And so so think about that the next time you cheer on a rapper like Future, who makes songs where the chorus is Molly Percocet, Molly Percocet. It makes me wonder, are you working for the feds? Are you part of their marketing plan to keep the black man so high and so drunk that he doesn't know which way's left, which way's right? Think about how many children have been traumatized by parents that were hooked on drugs. It's terrible. It's bullshit. I mean, I'm serious. I'm trying not to cuss today, but I can't help it. It makes me mad. It makes me mad that we even got black people co-signing on that nonsense. Seriously, we should be ashamed of ourselves that we even think that that's okay. So anyway, so moving on, so with Epstein, what's fascinating here is that Epstein has, this whole thing going on with his money, where basically he's not worth $1 billion. He's worth about $559 million. Now, in a court docket that was published on Monday, they put his assets at $559,120,000, which is short of $1 billion. According to the document, he has $194.9 million in a hedge fund, or in hedge fund and private equity investments, $112 million in stocks, and $14 million in fixed income. In terms of real estate, he owns a home in Manhattan's Upper East Side, valued at about $55.9 million. Palm Beach mansion worth about $12.38 million. A ranch in New Mexico worth about $17.25 million, and a private island that they used to call Orgy Island or something like that, which is I think in the U.S. Virgin Islands, it's called Little St. James, assessed at $63.87 million. What they did mention as well in this article, which is fascinating, is that there's no mention of his private jet. And it's funny, because when they talk about his private jet, I know that some jet that he was connected to had those letter numbers on the tail that were connected with the government or the CIA or something like that. I didn't get a chance to see it in detail, but there was something about that jet that was really interesting. And so now I see you mentioned that it's all undervalued. Well, some things can be undervalued. That's a good point. But some things, it's hard to undervalue them. Like, for example, in fact, they might be overvalued. Like, for example, his hedge fund investments, we know what that's worth, right? You can literally look it up based on what assets are in the hedge fund. The stocks, the stock market valuations update on a daily basis. 14.3 million in fixed income. I guess fixed income investments, those are valued by the market. The real estate, maybe he's undervaluing it, for legal reasons, but I don't know. I don't know if they would require someone to actually assess the value of that property or not. But he's worth a lot of money. And one of the things that they mentioned here is that apparently a lot of this money has been used allegedly to wire funds to co-conspirators to kind of get them off his back. So they say that he wired $100,000 from a trust account to one possible co-conspirator. A few days later, he wired $250,000 from the same trust to another possible co-conspirator, prosecutor said. Quote, neither of these payments appears to be recurring or repeating during the approximately 5 years of bank records presently available to the government. This course of action, and in particular its timing, suggests that the defendant was attempting to further influence co-conspirators who might provide information against him in light of the recently re-emerging allegations. So now what's really interesting is they said still the source of Epstein's wealth remains a mystery. So he's got all this money. Nobody knows where he got it. I'm going to make a guess that he got it, through the dope game, through, maybe I can't imagine the government just paying him this kind of money, even if he is, even if he does happen to be a spy or something like that. There are really elaborate stories out here, actually, of people that were government spies who also were drug dealers, right? So they were informants, but kind of like informant spies, and they would actually sort of mingle between those worlds. I think they would be able to work as drug dealers and get their drug dealer friends like off the hook because of their government connections. So it's like a thin line between somebody who just owns a few government officials, kind of like Pablo Escobar style, versus somebody who's giving the government information and using their providing of information as a way to make sure their friends remain clean. And that's the dirty work that the government has done over time. That's one of the things that they did that ruined the black communities, is that the black community got doused with crack because of of Reagan's desire to stop the spread of communism by dealing with some stuff down in Nicaragua and Latin America, right? So they basically wanted to support a rebel group, and they were like, look, Congress won't give us the funding to do that. Congress won't give us the money, but what we can do is we can let you go get all of our niggas hooked on drugs. Like, as long as you sell it to the niggas, we don't care what you do. So go make your money. We're going to look the other way. We're going to cover our eyes, cover our ears, look the other way, and let you go sling as much dope as you want. And if a couple people get killed, as long as they're black, it's okay. And that way we can pursue our political objective and political agenda. That's why, if you've ever woke up and wondered why so many people around the world hate the United States, that's why. It's because they've done so much dirty stuff like that for the sake of capitalism. They've done so many dirty things for the sake of pursuing a political agenda that is absolutely a mess. So give me 1 second here. Okay, see, these are the cute messages like that the 9-year-old will give you while you're online. The message says, Boyce, Mom gets mad when I make eggs without supervision, so can you supervise me? So y'all know this video gonna have to be short because I got to go supervise some eggs being made by Tay Tay. I don't know if y'all have ever seen Taylor, but Taylor is quite a character, and this is one of those little notes for all your parents out here, these little notes you just keep, and you keep it till they're grown and you embarrass them at their wedding. So anyway, let me get back to it. Let me focus again. All right. So so ultimately, we know about the dirty work of the government. We know that it seems like this Epstein case digs into that world. And I'm going to make a guess that that's a big part of the reason why they don't want it out there. It's not just because he's connected to these famous and powerful people. It's because, he's connected, to the heart of the government and the government's dirty operations, where they've, I guess to achieve some other objective, have allowed people to come in, and break the law on a consistent basis without penalty. A lot of people during the drug wars and things like that, a lot of people were coming through black communities, with AK-47, supplying all kinds of crazy weapons to kids. Think about this. How did South Central Los Angeles go from being a nice, healthy neighborhood to being a neighborhood where you got 8th graders that are scared to go to school because other 8th graders have assault weapons that they might use to murder them? Like, that's not black. Do black people make those weapons? Did black people create any of this? Do we have the capacity? Do we grow coca leaves in our backyards? No. All this just magically appears, and it's because the authorities are looking the other way. It's happening to this day. You go to Southside Chicago, you got the killing fields. You got the killing fields in Southside Chicago. Northside Chicago, everything's peachy clean and wonderful. Birds are chirping and shit. Sun is shining every day. Go to Southside Chicago, it becomes a war zone. You go to West Side Chicago, it becomes insane. You go to black neighborhoods, black male unemployment between ages of 20 and 24. 45% of those black males do not have jobs and they are not in school. So ultimately, this is kind of the work that's been done by this government, and it affects you. It affects you. So the Jeffrey Epsteins, these are this is their dirty laundry being aired out in public. And I think they don't know what to do with this. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna probably happen. I wouldn't be surprised if they go super deep, if they fake his death, or somehow they just say, well, look, his sentence is going to be what it is, so screw you. I can't see them giving Epstein the sentence that he would get if he was black. I just don't see them doing any of that. I don't see them giving him the sentence that he really deserves. It ain't because they just now figured out what kind of person he is. It's because before he was kind of in that untouchable space. So anyway, hit the thumbs up button. Please hit the thumbs up button. One of the stories that Epstein used to tell in terms of why he had all his money was because he used to say, or the story used to be, that he made his money in the hedge fund world by only managing the assets of clients with a net worth of $1 billion or more. However, in conversations in the hedge fund space, none that Yahoo Finance spoke to, none of the hedge fund managers, Yahoo Finance, all they do is finance. So they would know about somebody making $1 billion in the hedge fund space. They said none of the hedge fund managers they talked to knows anything about this guy. There are no regulatory filings or such as 13Fs tied to his purported hedge fund firm. So that's bullshit. That's a story somebody made up. So the question you must ask is not just what is the real story. The question you ask is, why did you make that story up? Like, what was the purpose of making that story up? And so the only client he's ever had that was a billionaire was Leslie Wexner. Now, remember, he said he made his whole career off billionaires, but there's only one billionaire they can connect him with, and that's Les Wexner, who cut ties with him over 10 years ago. Les Wexner, he's the founder of L Brands, the parent company of Victoria's Secret. So the investigation to Epstein began in 2005 by the Palm Beach Police Department. So it sounds to me like this was something where the local authorities got in on it, and they kind of messed up the apple cart for the feds. As the U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida began preparing federal criminal charges, so they take this local case, they're elevated to federal charges. That's when Epstein's attorney began plea bargain discussions. On September 24, 2007, Epstein signed the controversial non-prosecution agreement with the U.S. Attorney's Office. So it was the feds that stepped in and gave him the light sentence and the light charges, where he was supposedly in jail, but they let him out 6 days a week and only put him in there for a few months, and then agreed to not prosecute for anything else and charge him, I think, with prostitution or something like that, or not sell it, but soliciting prostitution. So ultimately, this is really deep, and it's very strange. And this guy's, he's very wealthy, but nobody knows where the money's coming from. So my guess is drugs. That's it. I just think he's a white Pablo Escobar type person, except Pablo had a lot more money than that. I think Pablo lost $2 billion a year just from the rats that ate all the cash that he had in his basement. So that's my 2 cents on it. So feel free to give me your thoughts, give me your comments. Y'all know I got to go upstairs and supervise eggs. So I got to go do my thing up there. But also, yesterday I told you guys I've been training for this marathon. I'm super sore today. We did 10 miles, which is like the longest I've run. I don't think I've had a training run longer than 10 miles ever. I've done a half marathon, but I've never done a training run longer than 7 miles. So it's getting real, it's getting hectic. But I tell you guys about it because I want to encourage you to take baby steps and start building yourself up. Hey babe, I'm gonna come upstairs in 1 second. So there we go. All right, guys. So hit the thumbs up button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. Also, if you want to figure out how to invest and you don't know how, and you guys ask me all the time how to be a stock market investor, I have a free training you can get access to if you sign up at blackmoney100.com. Just go sign up, blackmoney100.com. And I'm telling you, investing is the most important thing you can do for your children and for your grandchildren. In fact, just in the last 2 days, I put this on a stack of Bibles. I put it on my late grandma. Y'all know how seriously I take my grandmother. 2 mothers, I kid you not, 2 moms in the last 2 days have hit us up. And one mom told us that she got her child invested, or her child started our program called Black Millionaires of Tomorrow. It's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. And she gave her daughter $500 to start investing. She said, my daughter now has, I think it was like $4,350. I'm not kidding. I was kind of blown away because I thought she was going to say $800 or $1,000. She said $4,300 something dollars. Today, this morning, 30 minutes ago, I talked to a woman named Constance Carter, who runs a real estate. She runs the largest Black real estate brokerage in California. And she's actually going to come on the channel on Friday. You got to hear about this sister. She's wrote some really great books, etc. So Constance and I are just talking, right? We're just getting to know each other. I met her at FraserNet, and we're talking business. And she says, oh, yeah, I have I invited all my children to sign up for the Black Millionaires of Tomorrow program. I was like, really? So how did it go? She said, well, I got 2 of them to do it. And my son, he actually finished the program and got his certificate. And because we give the kids certificates because it's good for their self-esteem. And I said, so how did, so what happened then? She said, well, I gave him $1,000 to invest. I said, well, did he make money? She said, yeah, he's up to over $8,000. I kid you not. I'm not making this up. She's going to tell the story when she comes in on Friday. And I was like, $8,000? She said, yeah. She said, now all my kids want to go through the program because they saw how much money he made. So I encourage you, get your kids started on this stuff, because it's going to change how they think about everything. Now, I can't promise you the stock market's always going to keep going up. You're in an important, a really unique era in stock market history, right? I can't promise you that the future is going to be like the past. Nobody can predict the future, but these are the stories I'm getting. So I encourage you just to go take a look. If you have children or children in your community, children in your family, and you want to give them a leg up on other kids, like get them ahead of the curve, get them ahead of everybody else, take a look. It's at blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. When your children go through the program, have them go through everything, have them take the little self-study exams to make sure they know the material, and then at the end have them print out their degree from the Black Business School, and then they can say, I got a degree when I was 8 years old or 12 years old. That's going to be huge for their self-esteem and huge for how they see themselves. And again, and the last thing I'll tell you guys about it, I know I sound pitchy right now, but I got to tell you guys about this because I know this stuff works. If you are not happy for any reason, we will give you all your money back, every single penny, because so there's no risk to you. We want you to be happy, and we know you'll be happy. And these are the stories that are coming in. So I'm going to start actually collecting these stories. And anybody out who's listening, if you have a story like that, I hope you'll share it with other people so people can really know that this stuff works. The master plan for Black people, the way we're going to get Black people ahead in terms of wealth, is we're actually going to push our kids ahead of the pack by having them start learning business and wealth and investing at the ages of 6, 7, and 8 years old, whereas everybody else has their kids learning this stuff at 16, 17, 18. Our kids are going to be learning it early. So by the time they get to college, they'll be way ahead of the game. That's the master plan. That's what's going to put us ahead. That's how Black people are going to win. It's very, very basic. So anyway, that's it. Thank you guys for hearing me out on this. I just had to tell you guys the story because I'm excited about it. So feel free to check it out. It's blackmillionairesoftomorrow.com. All right, guys, I'm out of here. See you soon. Have a great day. Take care. Peace.